What kind are you? Are you that kind of art? Are you the kind of a story whose listening could bring hope? A story who will live as words in the pant pocket of a person, the color of whose skin is darker than the insides of his pocket. Are you the kind of a story to live in those pockets and wrap your words around his fingers when they rest in pockets? Because there is no work for these hands, no money for his brains. For our classrooms did not let him teach us. If you are, then stay with him, and when he holds his head in his hands, be the story to show him hope. No lies, but hope. He will need it the most then. Are you the kind of a song whose listening could bring laughter to a child's face, who lost her father because he was a Kashmiri? The army has taken him to places which do not exist on paper. You think you could be the song to be hummed by her father, her grandmother. You think you could be their song of protest, of remembrance, of memory, of becoming a testimony to fight the fresh pellets and bullets that haven't even reached Kashmir yet. You think you could be a song so loud that her father could listen to you in some place, somewhere in the valley while her mother hums you. If yes, then be the song to guide the child's love for her father and the mother's love for her son, and be firm. Be firm. Be firm to still ensure the son wants to live when he walks out of these unknown prisons. One day, someday. Until then, be the song to keep him alive. Are you the kind of a poem the sounds of which carry along the warmth of a hug, the warmth of a body, of company when loneliness ruptures every bit of you, not just on the outside, but inside where you hurt without being able to voice the pain out, the loneliness left behind by the parting of a lover defined by birth, the structures of caste last where rebellion leads to death? Could you be a song carrying the promise of finding love again, of finding meaning to life again, after all the fighting and arguing with these structures that have left you scarred and wounded? Be a song to heal these lovers and help them live again. Can you bridge their tears to hope again? Are you the kind of a painting which shows humans touching each other, not in the conventional form of two, of a woman with a man, of the painted body painted cloth, of the desireless eyes of the woman, of the man as an animal, not in any of these forms, but humans touching humans, humans touching each other with tenderness, with love and longing and meaning and pleasure, touching unashamedly? Could you be that painting to tell all of us men that sex could also be tender, pleasure could also be a woman's? If you could settle on my skin, and I would carry you as hair on my skin to every place I walk. Are you the kind of a music that pricks ears to make them bleed, of those who have what the others cannot afford to, just so that they know that privilege exists and that music can make people bleed, that people shout music out, yell it to one another, to be able to speak, to be able to assert, to be able to demand? If you are that kind of music, the one which fights power with number, that fights patterns with coming together, then you do not need to be amplified to be heard. Every single person's hum will make the sound louder than any speaker ever could. The truth in your voice will call the corpses, the victims of this democracy, out of their graves. They will all mourn along to your truth. Could you be that music to these corpses? Are you the kind of art which inspires people to talk, who could go to Palestine and listen to the broken schools there, not talk for once, but just listen, giving the empty school now a space to talk, his story to be told? You cannot know what you will hear from the school, apart from bombs, apart from missiles. You could also hear of occupation. You could also hear of the story of a mother who was brought to the school by the army men and raped. You could also hear of the ghost army of children who cry every night in the school, asking why the school was bombed. If you listen to any of this or all of this, And if you come back alive, you you could be that art asking people to question these offices that provide no answers, to an extent that those offices burn down. Are you a book which was banned? Too dangerous you were to a corporation well established, also known as the state. Your copy is burnt, or maybe a book too provocative, too violent, too offensive, too dangerous, too something, too everything. Everything they define. If you are, you could hide yourself in people, paint yourself on walls, become digital copies to be spread faster than any virus has ever been. Be sold by roadside bookstalls, because that is where you live. You are a book of the streets. If you are that book whose living would be due to an act of resurrection, owing its gratitude to be the act of being murdered, silenced, people will listen to you, and after listening, they will know your truth. There are no stupid men and women in this world. If you will ever, at any point of your being, be any of these, you will be art of resistance, of defiance, of rebellion, of strength, of courage, of coming together, of sedition, of anti-nationalism, of power, of allyship. But through your being and every bit of that, of the process and the act, the person and the being, the content and the form, you will always, always be art of compassion. You will be art of love. You will be art of equality. For without these, fuck your revolution.